Plaintiff claims that there was a tenancy for about a year, October 1st of 24 through October 1st of 25, at 2101 Cottage Street. They left the property in damaged condition. They removed a built-in double oven, and the pictures are hard to look at.
I know, I apologize.
Detached, it took the matching upper and lower cabinets, drawers, leaving the kitchen layout incomplete and damaged. Multiple windows and screens were broken. The property was filled with excessive trash and debris requiring professional cleanup. I'm seeking reimbursement for the cost of cleanup, repair, and replacement of the removed and damaged items. Is that correct, Ms. Metzger?
Yes, sir.
All right. I read these last week and I read them again this morning to try to refresh my memory on them. Ms. Terry, what's your position, Mr. Ruffin?
Your Honor, Ms. Metzger rented us the home. She was supposed to buy a new oven because that oven didn't work. Ultimately, we had to replace it. She was aware. She agreed. She never paid me back for it. She sent me an email that stated that she was sending somebody to paint or do some work to the outside of the house, paint the outside of the house, which had been done before we moved in and had been done a couple times because it kept flaking. The pictures that you see, she did send to us, but she didn't give us an option to do anything with it. We had both been working. The tire was removed immediately. It was just sitting outside the garage. We had took it out of the back of the truck. It was removed immediately. She threw away the rest of the cabinet, so we couldn't put it back around the oven. We paid for the oven to be installed. We paid for everything to be around it. We paid for plumbing that she was supposed to pay back that she never paid back. Like, it was just a nightmare renting from her. So this is really a bogus claim. There wasn't any windows broken when we moved out. There wasn't excessive.
All right, well, let's back up. There's probably enough nightmare to go around. Mr. Bitner and Mr. Pianowski, welcome to small claims court. This is going to take us a while, but I spent about an hour arguing about $76. All right, Ms. Metzger, let's take your testimony. Why do you believe they owe you $6,000?
Your Honor, this claim is for a tenant caused property damage beyond normal wear and tear. While Demetrius and Samantha were tenants at my property, they removed and discarded the built-in stove.
Yeah, well, let's add up the numbers. Let's see how you came to $6,000.
Sure. Are you wanting me to do that, or you didn't know if you're going to read something? The $4,000 was quoted from my contractor to clean up the remains of the cabinet that was just discarded outside by the back door of the kitchen. That's what one of those photos is. That was the built-in part of the oven.
Okay, so $4,000 of this is for the removal of the cabinet and the oven?
Well, the oven alone cost $2,200, and it was in perfect working order when they moved out. I was not aware that they had replaced until after they had done so, and they were actually wanting to purchase the property.
Slow down a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said the oven was in working condition when they moved out.
Absolutely. I mean, not when they moved out. When I moved out, I apologize.
All right, when they moved in is what you meant to say.
Yes.
All right. So the oven. Now there are some pictures before they moved in. Your dog's in them. He looked happy to be there. Yeah. But everything looked clean and neat, and a nice looking kitchen and a double oven. You're saying at the time they moved in October of 24, that oven worked?
Yes, sir.
Did they ever tell you that it did not work?
No, I was notified on my way to Las Vegas months later that it was for me not to worry because they had already removed it and got somebody by the name of, his name was Logan, a child that's going to school to be an electrician, to install it. Unfortunately, when I came after many attempts to go inside of my own home, I was denied until they moved out. That's when I had unfortunately found the replacement that they gave was on 2x4s, not built in, and the door to the kitchen barely even opened. It scraped against the oven because it was too big for the area. They did try to replace, but at the same time, the built-in part of it is gone, and I had to replace it after they moved out because that one didn't work when they moved out. And I know that the previous oven worked because they just discarded it in my home after they left. It was still in the home. So
All right, well,
I
let me see
actually,
if I can screen share here.
go ahead.
Well, I don't want to share. That's a really nice picture of the Grand Hotel,
It's
but that
beautiful.
is what I was trying to share. All right, that's the oven that was there in
Yes.
November of 2021.
Which is
There's
the same
another
oven we're
picture.
referring to.
Is that where
Yes,
it was and how it was situated?
exactly.
And that was July of 2015, according to that picture. So you're saying on October 1 of 24, when they moved in, that double oven was there.
Yes, and fully functioning. And I have zero report of the tenants asking or telling me that it didn't work. So even if the stove stopped functioning, it was built-in fixture and part of the property. And to me, the tenants are required to report the maintenance issue, not to remove it or discard it.
Is that
And I
what
was
they
not
replaced it
notified.
with?
Yep.
So when you got into your apartment, that's what you, or your house, that's what you found?
Yes, unfortunately.
So the cabinet was removed and that was there in its place.
Yep. And that door that you see to the right could barely open and shut because that unit is too big for that area.
All right. Ms. Terry, what do you say to that?
Okay, so part of what she said is correct. The oven is original to the house, the one that was there. It did not work when we moved in. She was aware of it when I called her and told her. She said, "Yeah, that thing doesn't what was her words? It doesn't heat properly. It doesn't heat evenly." That was her exact words. So we were unable to use it to cook, and so she then told me that it would be replaced. She never got to replace it. I called her because I was at a store. I told her about that, and she told me that to go ahead and replace it, and she would pay me back for it. I did use Logan at her suggestion. I didn't know Logan before I knew Lindsay. She introduced me to Logan, which was the person that we paid to replace the oven. She was aware that the cabinet had to be replaced because you can't find an oven that size, or at least I couldn't. I did try. Because it was the smaller ovens, and I couldn't find one anywhere. So I went to several of the appliance shops and I ended up buying one in Niles. And that's the one I bought. That one was working. That is a $6,000 stove. That is not what I paid for it. I paid $600 for it. And then I paid $250 to have it installed and $150 to have the electrical installed correctly, because it wasn't installed correctly either. And then Logan was going to come back and put the cabinet up. But again, Lindsay sent her people over and had the cabinet thrown away because we were going to build the cabinet around the stove.
I don't know if she's referring to the cabinet that was discarded outside, right outside the door, but that was way in different timelines than she's referring. That was already molded and, as you'll see in that photo, had been laying there for a very long time. And I
All
did
right,
not tell her
there's a
otherwise.
tire outside the house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
these photos were taken just days before they moved out. So nothing was done quickly.
actually I have the message, and you sent that over a month before we moved out.
What message?
All right, well, hold up a minute. All right, these were taken, it would have been in September of 2025.
Yes, this was the first time I was denied access to the home. I had everybody take photos as they walked around. And that was the condition of the home.
And that's the back of the house.
Yes, sir.
But Your Honor, that the
Just a
lawn,
minute, I didn't
lawn on
ask you
there,
anything. What are we
Okay.
looking at here?
that is a
That's my
sink.
built-in barbecue.
That's a sink for the outside, which was broken when we moved in. We were
It
told
was
not to
cracked,
replace
not
it.
broken.
All
We
right,
were
well,
told
hold it,
not-
hold it. I'll give you a chance to speak. This is her turn.
And that's the cabinet she's referring to that I threw away in September, but if you look back and and she even wants to tell you, if I knew about this, there's no way I would allowed that to be out there. Yes, so in September, I did remove that because clearly it's been out there for a long time and not
So you threw
cared
it
for.
away because it was laying out in the, and that's what it looked like when you found it
Yeah,
in
that's
September of
exactly what it looked
25.
like. I didn't know what that was a part of. I just thought it was trash because I told them to clean it up. They didn't, so I had my contractor had to because I was selling the home.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Michi.
Your Honor, before I,
Just a minute. We're in a court trial. She's testifying. I'll give you your chance to testify. And I say often, we're not sitting around the kitchen table. You're all under oath. She's asking for $6,000, and this is her telling her side of the story. I'll give you a chance to tell your side. This is some other stuff that appears to be junkified on the back patio.
Yep.
And are all those pictures fair and accurate pictures of what the property looked like in late September of 2025,
Yes, sir.
just before the defendants vacated?
Yeah, but right before I evicted them.
All right, what's the camper outside
That
there?
was mine, and I got that removed. Is because when she had moved in, she had made the claim that she wanted to purchase it from me. So she actually had the keys to that unit. And it wasn't until my contractor, his name is Travis, that you'll see the estimate from, actually got the key back from Demetrius after numerous times of me trying to reach out to Samantha that was unsuccessful. So while Travis was there, he got the key back from Demetrius, and I was able to remove that unit from the property.
I'm scrolling through the lease. There were some other. Oops, it must have been another exhibit. I'm going to stop screen sharing. All right, so there's a fundamental difference. Your testimony is that the stove worked when you got it, they rented it, they removed it without your consent, made it look like that unsightly thing that was there.
Yep.
Her testimony under oath is you knew it was broken and recommended the installer to do the installation, and she had him do it, and then you knew she did it. So what's your response to that?
That's 100% false. And not being able to find the unit in the same size, I did. And that's why that quote is for $2,200. And that's why I was so upset, because they're not cheap units to replace. I would never allow someone to take the integrity of my kitchen apart to replace with something, even if it was more expensive, but one that didn't fit into the space to begin with. Those units are about $2,200 to $2,600 because it's a 24-inch unit and it was replaced with a standardized size. That's why it didn't fit.
All right, so $4,000 is the removal of the stove and the cabinet. Where's your other $2,000?
So the 4,000 is really mainly for the outside. That's from my contractor, Travis, cleaning up all of the debris outside. I had to get a trailer to remove not only all the weeds and all of the stuff that they had out there, but cleaning up the property, getting it ready for
I didn't see
resale.
$4,000 worth of damage in those pictures. I
That's
saw
just
some things that looked kind of shabby, but
yeah.
maybe there's more that I didn't see, but I didn't see $4,000 worth of damage. Let's
Yeah, the
find
amount
your,
Yeah, I hope that you have everything, but the amount requested is just based on the actual replacement cost and the contractor invoices. These are definitely not estimates or speculation.
well, I'm looking for, I don't actually have paper copies of these small claims cases. They're all electronic. I have to go on a scavenger hunt to find what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your, all right, there's the 24-inch double electric wall stainless steel $2,378. Did you actually purchase that?
No, not yet. No, right now I have an
And-
apartment size oven in there just so that the door could open properly.
All right, then you have Witterlock Property Solutions, $4,000, October 3rd of 25. Clean yard and backyard peaks paint, 1 times 1,000. Side peaks paint. That's not theirs. Paint materials, roof ridge materials, $4,000. So that's cleaning up the yard and paint the back peaks. That's not $4,000 of damage that they're responsible for.
No.
So how much are you asking for the cleanup?
So the contractor, Travis, he had basically quoted me just $1,000 for the weeds and all of the stuff out there. And then I had him paint an additional because I was trying to sell the house. But then I really need the oven to be replaced, and then I need to fund the contractor to install it properly and make it look as best I can.
All right. All right, Miss Terry, Mr. Ruffin, this is your chance to tell your side of the story. So Miss Terry, I'll let you go first, then we'll hear from Mr. Ruffin.
Okay, Your Honor, I've given you most of it. I'll try not to repeat it. She sent us pictures of what she wanted done in the yard, but she told me that that somebody would be out there the next day and for me to leave it alone.
Well, you vacated on October 1st and that quote is dated October 3rd.
No,
So-
no, she had people out there doing it with us still living in the home.
All right, well, very close in time to the time you left.
It was a month.
I didn't see
earlier.
$1,000 worth of repair out there, but maybe to paint it, but all right, so there's that. Now the stove looks like hell. You can clearly find a comparable stove. You got some secondhand model for $600 and mounted it on some rickety 2x4s. That wouldn't have passed code. The city had come in to look at that. They would have not allowed it to happen. That's
It wasn't registered. as
220
a-
wiring. Then she doesn't know what happened to her stove. She
Her stove was
says
sitting in the
she
dining
didn't
room.
give you. Say that again?
The old stove was sitting in the dining room. Because
On my beautiful floors
it wasn't scratched.
that you know of.
All right, so you still got the original stove. Is that correct?
It's now been discarded because it had sat wherever it sat for as many months as it did. So I didn't try to I can't put it back up without a cabinet surrounding it. So
All right, so she took your stove out and replaced it with hers. She said it didn't work. So let's assume it didn't work, and I will assume it didn't work, because why would she junkify it like this if it did work? So she has to buy you a new stove because she took your stove out. She didn't throw it away. She simply parked it there inside the house. So you threw it away and you want her to buy you a new stove. She also
No.
left her funky $600 stove in there. So there's some compensation to be made, but I'm not sure what the amount is. All right. And they tore the cabinet out of there and threw it out in the backyard where it got warped and water damaged, and then you threw it away. You can't expect her to want to save that cabinet after it was laying out in the yard like that.
You're right, Your
Now-
Honor, I didn't. I didn't
All right.
expect it, but I did expect to have that so that we could use the dimensions to build a new cabinet.
All right. Now, what about the cleanup?
We would have done the cleanup. The only thing that was done was that pile of the cabinet, and we removed the tire. The camper is a whole different story that I won't get into because it's not part of this case, but it was removed. And the sink was something that was broken when we moved in there, that plastic sink in the outdoor kitchen. And we were told not to replace it because the homeless would just break it again. The only other thing laying there is the umbrella because we were taking down summer stuff.
Yes. The $4,000 quote she got from her contractor includes a bunch of other things that didn't include your cleanup. Now, was there an actual landlord tenant case filed? I didn't see one. Or you simply moved out because she requested that you move?
She didn't request. I gave her a 30-day notice and I moved. There was no eviction. There was no nothing.
Eviction papers were
Was
already
there,
filed. They were already filed. She moved out before it was finalized.
all right, let me look at it. I didn't find it.
I had stopped the process because she gave me the 30-day notice, and then I knew I was gonna have to wait that 30 days in court anyway, so.
There it is.
And the
No, that's
cleanup
this
was
case.
over 1,000 because of all the weeds that were all the way around my home. I was getting complaints from my neighbors that there were rodents now outside, so that's one of the reasons why I believe my contractor made it so much.
Was there a security deposit?
No, Your Honor,
No.
it was not.
Nope. Because they were
Didn't
planning
it-
on purchasing at one point and then they failed to do so. That's why a lot of that conversation has been a different in context. So I was never going to replace the oven because they were going to purchase it. I was never notified it didn't work. I was told that it was small. Yes, it's 24 inches. I made it work for the 6 years I lived there. And even if it didn't heat the same, it was an original model. So if it heated more in the back, I was aware of that. But I made it work the entire time I lived there. But I don't know. And it did not pass code. The new one did not, because I did have to have the city come in, and it is now determined as a rental with the city of Sturgis.
I'm looking at the lease to see if there was a security deposit. And it does not appear that there was rent. Rent was $1,400 per month. Where did you get the lease?
I don't know. Honestly, I think it was just an online one. I don't recall, to be honest. It was over a year ago.
I've seen worse, but I've seen better also. I guess it was good enough, but there was no security deposit. All right. Mr. Ruffin, you had something that you wanted to say and I cut you off. I said I'd give you your turn. Well, this is your turn. What did you want to tell me?
I said, I understand the mess. I work 12 hours a day and I got double knee surgery and I'm a little slow at doing a lot of stuff when it comes to doing the housework. That work stuffed outside when we took the cabinet out to put the stove in because the first stove didn't work well, so we stuck it in the living room for her and we put the new one in. I understand the mess. Yes, the mess was a little slow for me to get to, and I was getting to the yard work too at the same time. Like I said, I work a lot of hours and I have bad knees. Well, they're good knees, but they're bad knees. You understand what I'm saying? I have, and I'm slow at it, but I was going to get to it. I kept trying to say, I'm going to get to the mess, but she had no patience. She sent the guy out and
Well,
cleaned
you
up all
gave
that.
them a 30-day notice to quit, meaning you had 30 days to know when you were
Yes,
going to
sir.
go.
Yes, sir. But all this mess she's talking about was done well before we was going to move out of the house. This was more than 30 days before we was going to move out of the house. This was just before the weather started turning bad. It was still in the late spring, early fall when all this came up with the mess.
Well, I agree with you there. It is a mess. But it's not a $6,000 claim. You took her oven out without her
Yes, sir.
permission and set it aside.
Yes.
Then she chose to throw it away. I believe her, you didn't have her permission to take it out of there, but I also believe you that it didn't work or you wouldn't have done what you did. And then to put it in correctly would buy her a brand new oven when the oven she had, she still has, but it doesn't work.
Mhm.
So also the cabinets were damaged. I'm going to allow $1,500 for the stove and the cabinets. And $500 for the outside cleanup, which is $2,000. If there was a security deposit, it could have been applied to these sorts of things. So I fine for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. There are court costs of $102.50 for filing fees and a service fee of $115. The total is $2,217.50. Can you make some sort of payment each month on that?
Yes, sir, I can.
Judge McManus wanted everything resolved within 24 months. If we did it in 12 months, it would cost $200 per month. Can you pay $200 per month?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
All right, judgment of pay to the plaintiff in the amount of $2,200 per month starting February 1st, 2026. All right, you make those payments directly to her. Is the Cape Coral address correct, Ms. Metzger,
Yes,
or
sir.
do you have it sent somewhere else?
Nope, Cape Coral address is
All
where
right.
I'm at.
All right, and you guys are in Niles?
Yes.
All right, I fine for the plaintiff, not in the amount of $6,000, in the amount of $2,000 plus cost, $2,217.50 payable at $200 per month starting February 1st. That would pay this off in approximately 11 months, maybe a little more. All right, this matter is completed. We'll do an order and you'll get a copy of it in the mail. Send the payments directly to the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're both good to go.